yeah, so what made you look for something like this?
So basically, I retired from work last year, and after taking 6 months off, I started looking into sort of things I could be doing to get my teeth into. I'm still relatively young, and so I thought I've always wanted to start an online business, and so I started looking into it and investigating it.
And so what made you choose ClickStart Digital over other options out there?
I did a fair bit of research, and to be fair, ClickStart seemed to come up every time I did some searches, whether it was on Facebook or on Google. And then once I learned about you because I didn't know about ClickStart, I got some really good references that I saw online, and then once I started engaging with Susan Francis, she was very responsive
Mm.
and was very quick at giving me the information I needed to help me along the way in making the decision.
And so I know you were comparing us to a competitor out there. So what do you think were the biggest differences between us and them that sort of got you across the line with coming on board with us?
So yeah, I was comparing you to another agency that's based in Queensland as well, and I don't know, from them I just got a lot of hype. They really talked up a big game and made it sound very, very easy and so on. And obviously, because I've got an IT background, I know that no matter how easy people say it is, you've still got to put in the work and so on. And not all projects are successful and so on. Whereas I think I got a bit more authenticity from dealing with Susan. She told me the good, the bad, and the different. Whereas the other mob, everything was just positive and you're going to make your first million and all this sort of stuff. And I know that it's not that easy because if it was, everybody would be doing it, right?
So prior to this business that you've started, have you ever in your lifetime created a brand new business yourself?
So I started a consulting business in the late 90s while I was still in the corporate world and did a little bit of that on the side, but nothing like this, no.
Yeah. So this is your first e-commerce business that you've ever
Absolutely.
created.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you joined ClickStart, did you have any idea on what you wanted to sell?
No. And that is the biggest challenge, I think. You go into it before you make the decision, you think, yeah, I want to do this, but what am I going to take to market? And you talk about finding a niche and all this sort of thing.
Mm.
Um, you guys Clickstart during the onboarding side of things talks about a process and so on. But still, until you know exactly what it is you're going to go with, it's still, I was a bit anxious about that part of it. Absolutely.
Yeah. And how do you feel about the decision now on your niche?
Well, I think I've become I think I've found the perfect niche for me, and I was quite surprised in terms of the actual business name that I was able to register, and I've got a bit of a passion for Italian cooking, so yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying that part of it, absolutely.
Mhm. Do you think the concept and the niche that you're doing, do you think you could have come up with that by yourself? Do you think you would have eventually gone down that path? Like, because I know we sort of steered you a little bit into a more of a niche within your niche that you come up with. Do you think you would have got there, or do you think that you just would have stuck with that original niche of just doing more generalized sort of Italian cooking products?
No, no, I think to be fair, I think I would have gone down the path of doing the broader approach,
Yeah.
um, of playing across three different Italian cooking segments.
Mm.
And I can now sitting back, I can see the challenges I would have had. I can see the money I would have had to spend in terms of advertising and so on. And yeah, I think that is certainly an area where Clickstart has helped me save time, money, effort, and your guidance around that. At the time, I'll be honest, I was a bit apprehensive. I thought, yeah, not sure about this. But now that I've been running for just over 3 months, I think it's the right decision, absolutely.
And so in the last 3 months since you've launched, what's the revenue that you've brought in today?
So up until today, I've brought in just over $14,000 in revenue. So yeah, pretty pleased about that. I didn't know what to expect. You go into this and you're being guided and so on. And no, so $14,000 in 3 months, I think is quite reasonable.
Yeah, it's a great start. And so are your products from local suppliers or dropship suppliers?
So I've got two suppliers here in Sydney. One's in the Southern Highlands and one's in the Western suburbs. And yeah, basically I'm drop shipping at the moment. I'd envisage that as the business moves forward, that potentially I would look at maybe carrying some stock, doing some 3PL, because I can already see it just gives you a lot more flexibility, and especially around bundling when you're doing bundling with others, and yeah, you'll make more money. But yeah, so that's the end game as well. Like eventually, I'd like to move into carrying some of my own stock.
So would you say drop shipping is a good option for someone that sort of wants to, dip their toe in the water, get into it, and then eventually, move into wholesale is always probably the ultimate goal, isn't it? Would you sort of agree with that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think for people that have never been in business or anything like that, I think absolutely. And even for people like me who have been in business but have never done an online style business,
Mm.
I think it's fantastic. It's a good way to get to understand how it all works and so on. And then as the business evolves, then you can make the right decisions at the right time.
Drop shipping is it's a great place to start because it's less risk, I guess, isn't it? Because you're not having to buy stock when you're not even sure if it's going to sell, and then tying your money up in stock, and then you've got to put the stock somewhere, and then you've got to pick and pack the orders and do all the work.
Yeah.
It just takes all that off the table. So it's a great place to start. Most of our clients sort of start with drop shippers and move into wholesale eventually. So do you think you could have done any of this without the help of Clickstart?
I would have, as I said earlier, I would have burnt a lot of time. I would have made a lot of mistakes, and I would have burnt a lot of cash. Whereas I think with the experience of you and your team, you've guided me into an area where the mistakes that you've seen or done yourselves and so on, you've passed on that information to me, and I've been able to avoid going down the same rabbit hole. So.
So were there any fears or doubts before you got started?
Yeah, well, like anything, right? You're going into something new. There's always a bit of anxiety. There's some doubt, especially when you don't know yet what product you're going to land on and take to market. So I think all those standard um, fears and doubts were there. Um, for me, the biggest part of the journey was once I had selected what I was going to take to market, then I was able to focus on that and then just get on with it. And I found that it became a lot easier once I'd selected the niche that I was going to promote.
So once you got started with this, how did you find the process?
Yeah, the process is very, very good. The onboarding was good. Yeah, I find the online portal fantastic because it's great. You do the course once, but you either forget or you're not sure about something, and you can just go back to it many, many times, and it's there for you, and that makes it a lot easier. So yeah, no, I thought that part of it was fantastic.
So how would you rate the e-commerce academy on School out of 10?
Out of 10, I'd probably say I never give 10, so I'd say 9.
So what was the best part of the whole experience for you?
So the best part, obviously, is when you get your first order. And I'll never forget, I was on a call with Rebecca, and she was taking me through some stuff for Shopify, and I just saw these two orders come through, and I thought that she was doing something and testing something, and I asked her, I said, "Have you done something to send through an order?" And she said, "No." And then I looked at it, and it was a gentleman in Brisbane placed an order for an oven and some accessories. So
Mm.
that was pretty good. Also, the other thing is I was stoked when I was able to register the brand that I did, and now seeing the brand out there gives you a bit of a buzz. working overall with the team, your team's great. They know their stuff and they're very prompt and responsive. As I said, Rebecca, she's a star. She's what she brings to the table is fantastic, and I just found working with her really really easy, and she gave some really really good advice and guidance, and obviously so do you, Sam, from especially from the ads perspective. Your experience there is outstanding. So yeah, no, that part of it's great, no problem.
So, last question. So, what would you say to someone that might be sitting on the fence thinking about doing this?
Yeah, I think most people would have been in the situation where you're not sure what to take to market. They'd have doubts of whether they're capable of doing it because they're not, I don't know, IT savvy or whatever. But I think working with you guys, you take a lot of that, make that part of it a lot easier because you've got a framework that you guys work to, and the knowledge and experience of your team absolutely give people like me and others the best chance of success. It like I said earlier, if it was guaranteed and you spend X and you'll make Y, then everybody would be doing it. It's not like that at all. You've got to work at it, and you need to be prepared to put in the time and effort to drive and continue to drive the business.